Hey YouTube, this is RP Mono Railroads. I normally don't publicize my voice, but I figured it was about time to create a layout tour video of my first HO scale layout of all time, the Ephrata Valley Railroad. So without further ado, let's jump right into it with the centerpiece of the layout, the Schuylkill Valley Station. I actually picked this up pre-built from a thrift store along with a couple other buildings back when the Ephrata Valley Railroad was first being constructed about 5 years ago, and it remains the main train station on the layout to this day. As we pan over here to the right, we see the construction site, which actually the main piece of this would be the 3 homes under construction. Bought the kit new again when the Ephrata Valley Railroad was still being built 5 years ago. I built the homes myself because they were brand new in the box. And then I've added various details over time to the scene, including HO scale workers and HO scale construction vehicles that really have brought life into the construction site. Over here to the right, we have a fairly new scene I've been working on. It's a lifelike build-a-scene quarry that I had to customize in order to fit the space. And I can't forget to mention while I'm here, the awesome Woodland Scenic steam shovel and Mini Metals 50s white dump truck that fit the theme of the layout perfectly, as well as the quarry. Again, not complete with that, but still working on it. As we move deeper into the layout, we have Nazareth Crossing, which is the passenger station on the layout. And to the left of that, we have this pretty detailed balsa wood set of 3 buildings, a theater, hardware store, and grocery store. This was built by someone who did an incredible job. Never really fit in with the whole plastic building theme of the layout, but it is still on the layout to this day. It may be replaced in the future, though. Back there in the corner of the layout, we have the RP Building Supply Company. And then on the rear part of town, we have the Plasticville Blue Rancher, another balsa wood kit, that brown house back there, which doesn't really match the rancher next to it, and the Ephrata Fire Department, which has its gleaming yellow American LaFrance fire truck sitting outside the doors. The fire department itself is actually just a vintage Plasticville kit that I do plan on customizing in the future and adding a custom logo above the doors for the Ephrata Fire Department, maybe painting it. And the fire siren next to it was actually a custom-built product by a friend of mine on the Tyco Trains forum. He did an incredible job with it, and the yellow of the horn matches perfectly with the yellow of the apparatus. So as we go further left in the layout, we hit one of my favorite buildings of all time. On the layout itself, the York Sawmill and Lumber Company. It is actually a Faller kit, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And the detail that Faller put into this is just incredible, down to the weathering on the roof. And the brickwork and the plastic just looks incredible. Behind that, we have the Ephrata Coal Company, which is a Model Power Blue Coal Depot kit that I put together about a year ago. Replaced the former unrealistic Bachmann snap-together steaming coal tower, which didn't really fit exactly what I was naming it after. But the Ephrata Coal Company now has a proper coal mine to stand above the railroad, which just looks fantastic. Over here we have a signal tower, which has been there for quite some time now. And the Hanover Water Tower back there in the corner, which has been weathered with some rust pigment. Again, looks pretty good. And of course, we can't forget the rock wall, which I actually put together myself with some real slate rock that I hot glued together. Turned out to be not so sturdy over time, but looks pretty realistic in my opinion. As we move down here on the layout, we have the piggyback terminal, if I can zoom in, which is actually a custom Tyco piggyback terminal that I had to cut down in order to fit the space. Next to that, we have a lifelike church for the town of Ephrata, the lifelike Good Shepherd Church. Built that from the kit up. Looks pretty good. Again, another building that's been on the layout for quite some time. Probably won't ever be changed out. And last but not least, the Ephrata Donut Shop. A Walters kit. I did paint the donut myself, although I'm not too proud of it now. Some 2 years ago, but again, it's on the layout to stay, and it really brought the whole food aspect of the town together as well. Of course, we can't forget the hamburger and convenience stand there in the corner, which quite a bit of HO scale patrons are visiting at this time. And while I'm here, I might as well mention the diversity in the different HO scale vehicles on the layout, from die-cast realistic ones to Tyco and Bachmann plastic cars and trucks and tractor trailers. The layout itself is just a whole variety of different vintage and modern HO scale model railroading techniques. And while we're here, cannot forget to mention the Ephrata playground, which really turned out better than I expected, with some Pieces of coal there in the background, and of course a bunch of people in the playground. Looks like a really lively scene there. And while we're at it, let's talk about my favorite scenic part of the layout, these trees that enshroud the tracks. Again, they've been here for quite some time, and they really set the entire theme of the layout itself. So I think that's about it for this video. If you like the idea of a layout tour, let me know in the comments. If you'd like me to do some progress update videos on this layout or my other layouts over time, whenever I change things up sometimes, which I often do, let me know in the comments. And of course, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much for the support.